I want to move on to something that happened last week because once again, I know it's hard to believe, but there was a lot of talk about Donald Trump and what happened on The View. Now, you brought up the idea of the president's birth certificate and the fact that you would love for him to show it, just to clear everything up. And then Whoopi Goldberg said this.
Donald, I love you too. I think that's the biggest pile of dog mess I've heard in ages.
But the question is, why not show it, right? There's something on his birth certificate he doesn't want to show.
It's not because he's black.
Let him show. Has nothing to do with it.
Because I've never heard any white president asked to be shown the birth certificate. When you become a president of the United States of America, you know that he's American. I'm saying that's BS.
All right, Mr. Trump, does it have anything to do with race?
Absolutely not. And I like Whoopi. I've always had a good relationship with Whoopi. She asked me to do a movie for her. I was in a movie. But frankly, I mean, I think it's insulting that she brings up, what does that have to do with race? In fact, when she said it, I said, what are we talking about? Right. The fact is they asked John McCain for his birth certificate. They've asked others for their birth certificate. They asked Bush for his birth certificate, by the way, I just found out over the weekend. And they would ask me for my birth certificate. And by the way, it's sitting on the top of my desk. They give you a certificate of live birth, which anybody can get. Just walk into the hospital and you get a certificate of live birth. It's not even signed by people. Right. Now, you know, this guy either has a birth certificate or he doesn't. And I didn't think this was such a big deal, but I will tell you, it's turning out to be a very big deal because people now are calling me from all over saying, please don't give up on this issue. If you weren't born in this country, you cannot be president.
But do you think he was born in this country?
I am really concerned, and I will tell you, when this all started a week ago, I assumed, hey, look, you have no doctors that remember. You have no nurses. This is the President of the United States that remember. That ad that was placed in the Houston paper, that was placed in the paper days after he was born. So he could have come into the country, and they did it for social reasons. They put it in. They did it for whatever reasons. There are a lot of reasons you could have put an ad in, but he could have been born outside of this country. Why can't he produce a birth certificate? And by the way, there's one story that his family doesn't even know what hospital he was born in.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Donald, before you go, what about the mainstream media accounts of this dust-up over the last week where they're trying to paint you as, you know, the mayor of Crazy Town for bringing this up?
Well, you know, it's amazing. I start off, every time I talk about the birthers, I start off by saying, and it's very interesting, I was a great student at the best college in the country. You know, I want to let people know I'm a smart guy because what they do to the birthers, and I don't even like the term the birthers. I think it's unfair to them. These are people that want to see a birth certificate. They want to know that the president was born here.
But why would you go? Why would you go down this path, Donald? A lot of people were asking that question last week as well. Why would you decide to do this if, in fact, you decide to run for president?
Because if you're not born in the United States, you cannot be president. And there's a real question. And if this birth certificate exists, you know what I get a kick out of? The governor of Hawaii says, I remember when he was born 50 years ago. I doubt it. I think this guy should be investigated. I doubt. He remembers when Obama was born. Give me a break. He's just trying to do something for his party. The fact is, if you're not born in the United States, you cannot be president. He is having a hard time. He spent millions of dollars trying to get away from this issue, millions of dollars in legal fees trying to get away from this issue. And I'll tell you what, I brought it up just routinely, and all of a sudden a lot of facts are emerging, and I'm starting to wonder myself whether or not he was born in this country.
So it's not going away in your mind. Donald Trump, who we all know was born in this country, all we have to do is read the side of his building.